How to Break Through a Business Plateau, Episode 33. Are you ready to make your law firm a profit-generating machine that will free up your time and skyrocket your impact? With more than 2 decades of business growth experience and having proven that you can be successful while prioritizing your family and your impact, introducing the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, the creator of the Firm Differentiator 10X Effect, Moshe Amsel. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Profit with Law. In his book, Living Forward, Michael Hyatt talks about a concept called drift. Now, his conversation of drift is referring to somebody realizing in their life that they've kind of just been drifting along. They are just letting life happen to them and not proactively trying to make their life more purposeful, better, and so on. And what happens is when you experience drift, when you allow things to just kind of run on autopilot, what ends up happening is that the current takes you somewhere other than where you wanted to go. Another great example of this concept is one that I've heard where if a plane takes off from California, let's say from LA, heading to New York, and the plane is simply just 1 degree off in direction, it will end up somewhere in Canada or somewhere in the southern U.S. It'll be completely hundreds of or thousands of miles off course. And why I bring this up is because this is what I've been finding with many of my law firm clients to be the problem or one of the identifying issues that I'm able to discover when I start working with them, that they've been drifting in their law practice. They've kind of been allowing things to run on autopilot. And when things run on autopilot, you end up not getting to the destination that you want to get to. So if you want your law firm to grow, or if you want your law firm to be more profitable, or if you want your law firm to, increase customer satisfaction, all of those things are going to require you to do something different than what you're doing already. And if you don't, then you're just kind of drifting along. And drifting along might just look like that your revenues stay stagnant, your profitability stays stagnant. Whatever is the status quo, that's what keeps repeating itself year after year after year. And what I've heard described to me is, people saying something like, I've hit a plateau or I've hit a peak. This happens. It's happened to me on multiple occasions in my weight loss journey. I've brought up my health journey on multiple episodes in the past, but it's happening right now. I started on July 10th. Almost 2 months into the process, and I've noticed that in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've hit a plateau. I've stopped losing weight. And when I start looking at it, it's because I had my birthday, and then we had our anniversary, and then we had our extended weekend on Long Beach Island on the Jersey Shore. And all of the excuses the excuses for cheating and eating things I'm not supposed to start to add up. And what it does is it stops forward progress. It stops the momentum because I stopped doing the purposeful action and allowed a drift to settle in. I allowed the old habits to come in and kind of take precedent. So what happens is, if you want to effectuate change in your firm, if you want to start to move in a positive direction, if you want to start moving towards a better goal, what needs to happen is that you need to start to have purpose. You need to overcome drift. You need to start to pull in a specific direction. And we can look at this from many different angles, and I've talked about goal setting in the past, and I've talked about, different things that are all related. But I felt compelled to talk about it in this way because I think that this will hit the message home in another manner. And, that is that if you want to achieve a certain level of success or a certain level of differentiation from what you're achieving today, you have to identify what that is and then be very purposeful in your actions to take the steps necessary to get there. In previous episodes, I've mentioned the 90X goal planner. And the 90X goal planner that my friend Alon David, and now that I'm bringing it up multiple times, I'm realizing I should probably get him on as a podcast guest on the podcast here. So stay tuned. We'll see if I can line that interview up and bring him to you. But he created this journal that you basically, in the full version, you have 5 goals that you define in the action planner, which I like much better because it's much more, it's smaller, so it's more portable, and it's also more realistic. I think it's more realistic to aim for 3 goals as opposed to 5 in a 90-day period. But basically, this planner is 90 days long. It's not date specific. You can start it whenever, but it's a 90-day sprint towards achieving a set number of goals. And at the beginning, you start off by identifying what is the goal that you want to achieve in 90 days, and then you identify why you want to achieve that goal. It's important to have the why because you can go back and look at that and be reminded why you set that goal in the first place. But once you set the goal, then the next thing that you want to do is you want to kind of work your way backwards from having achieved the goal. So let's say that your goal is to bring in 20 new clients from above and beyond what you've been bringing in the past. So now if you put yourself in the shoes of 90 days from now that we've successfully brought in 20 new clients, and now look at your business, say, what did we have to do to make this happen? Now, if you look back and you look at the path that you took, it will suddenly start to become clear to you that, let's say, I'm gonna use one example. There's many different ways that you can bring in new clients into your firm, but let's say that we had a previous episode where Stacy Brown Randall talked about getting referrals without asking. So let's use that as an example. It's a previous episode, and I actually don't have the episode number in front of me. Maybe I can pull it up real quick. Generating Referrals Without Asking with Stacy Brown Randall, episode 25. So go back, listen to episode 25 if you'd like. But in that episode, what she shared with us was a system on how to generate referrals without asking, and it includes identifying who your referral partners are going to be and then taking efforts to become top of mind with those referral partners. So let's say that that's the method that you're using, and you know that each referral partner can bring in 2 leads in a quarter, 2 new clients, let's say 2 new clients in a quarter. You want 20. Well, now working backwards, you know that you need to have done a proper job in becoming top of mind for 10 referral partners, 10 referral sources. So now you know that you need to identify what those referral sources are. You know that you need to implement a system to keep them, to make them feel like you are top of mind, to want to send you referrals. So now when we start to work our way backwards, you can start to identify what are the steps that you need to take in order to achieve this goal. And now using your planner, you can break it down week by week and then ultimately day by day. What are the actions that you need to take? I'll give you another example for something that I'm working on right now. So I am in the process of putting together a conference for law firm owners and law firm operators. And I'm going to be getting 30 speakers for this conference. So now I know that I need to talk to more than 30 people to get 30 speakers. I probably am going to have to talk to 90 potential speakers to be able to book the 30 that I need. Now, if I know that in the next 90 days, not only do I have to book these speakers, but I actually have to go through to find their topic and maybe interview them. So now I know that in the first 30 days, I need to line up all my speakers. So now I know that I need to make 90 phone calls in 30 days, which is really 20 days if we're talking about business days, right? So now I'm down to needing to make 4 to 5 phone calls a day to try to book speakers. Well, now I've got a very actionable item that every day I am going to start my day by making phone calls to book these speakers, and I need to make 4 to 5 calls. So until I make those 5 calls, I have not taken the action I need to take to move my business forward for the 90-day goal that I defined. And by doing this, by not only defining it, but by putting it in the planner, writing it down and having it there, now you can open that up and say, okay, what is it that I need to do today? And before you get into drift mode, before you get to doing the technical work that you probably get lost in every single day, which is the legal work, before you get lost into all of that, you attack those big rocks. You attack those things that need to get done that are going to move you towards that goal that you set. And by knocking them out early in the day, by knocking them out first of all, it gives you that sense of accomplishment. But second of all, it makes sure that you're continuing to pull in the right direction and you're not going to be overcome by the current and whatever direction it's dragging you in. So this is going to be a pretty short episode because I just wanted to come and make this point because if you're not currently setting goals and identifying the key actions to take in order to make those goals happen, and then finding a way to make those a priority to make sure that they happen every day. If you're not currently doing that, you're basically setting yourself up for drift, not necessarily for failure, but for failure to go in the direction that you want to go. Because it's very difficult to continuously pull in the right direction without being very organized and methodical in making sure that that happens. If you know your overall goal, but you don't identify it, you don't write it down, the only difference is that the amount of time it's going to take you to achieve that goal. You may eventually get there, but it might take you a lot more than 90 days or a lot more than 180 days, depending on the size of the goal, the length of the goal, how long it takes. But if you map it out and on paper, it's going to be a 90-day thing. If you don't actually follow that plan, then chances are that 90-day thing is going to take you a year or more to accomplish. And, so this is not to say that this is the only way to achieve success, but if you want to shortcut the process, if you want to shave off time, if you want to see success rapidly, this is the by far the best tip that I can provide to help you make that happen. So I hope this was helpful. And if you want some more information about the upcoming conference that we're planning, we're not even close to promoting it yet. It's going to be in December. It's going to be a virtual conference, so it's going to be online. No need to book a plane ticket or anything. But if you're interested in getting more information, just drop me an email at mamsell@dreambuilderfinancial.com, and we'll put your name down on a wait list and let you know as soon as we have more information. So I hope this information was helpful, and keep plugging at your goals and your progress. And hopefully we'll get a loan to come in on the podcast and be a guest here. We can talk about how his planner came into fruition and some of the deeper meaning behind it, and maybe how to properly use it. And I'm sure that he might be able to have promotion if you want to pick that planner up for yourself. So anyway, I'm looking forward to chatting with you again soon. Take care. This week's episode of the Profit with Law podcast has ended, but your growth journey doesn't have to stop here. Head over to profitwithlaw.com/grow, where you can download the Firm Differentiator 10X System Toolkit entirely free. In this toolkit, I share the details of my system being used to grow firms to extreme profitability. That's profitwithlaw.com/grow. Until the next time, remember, a law practice is not for practice, it's for profit.